When you decide to train your mind to make more money, you are not engaging in a trivial exercise of positive thinking. You are entering the sacred territory where thought becomes substance and the invisible becomes visible. You step into the living current of abundance that has been waiting for your recognition, for nothing can flow into your life until your mind makes a place for it. The universe is endlessly attempting to deliver increase, but the human mind is often trained to anticipate decrease, and a mind that anticipates decrease cannot perceive the doorways to expansion. So the first training is not action but alignment, not hustle but harmony, not forcing but allowing. For money flows not to the tense, but to the attuned. Feel the atmosphere around you right now. There is a current of intelligence, a current that responds instantly to the impressions you project. As you shift the patterns of expectation within you, this current reorganizes itself to match your inner decree. When you learn to impress your mind with the certainty of prosperity, you are not merely imagining something, you are commanding the unseen to shape itself in your favor. Every word you speak becomes a mold in the invisible substance of life, and your thoughts are the chisels that carve your future. If you speak of lack, you train your mind to search for limitation. If you speak of ease and increase, you train your mind to recognize opportunity. Your brain becomes a loyal servant to the pattern you present to it most consistently, and because money is an energy that responds to direction, it moves toward the individual who commands it with confidence, serenity, and clarity. Many people believe money requires strain, but strain repels supply, for strain is a signal of unworthiness. When you feel unworthy, your mind closes the gates through which prosperity attempts to reach you. So each time you affirm your worthiness, each time you declare that you are ready for increase, each time you envision yourself receiving with grace, you are expanding the channels through which money can flow. Your brain is a garden, and money is simply a flower that grows easily when the soil is fertile. But the soil of your mind must be tended with intention. Thoughts of envy, resentment, or fear are weeds that choke the roots of abundance. They cloud the inner sight that allows you to recognize divine opportunities. When you train your mind to celebrate the success of others, you affirm the possibility of your own. When you refuse to dwell on past losses, you release the mental anchors that hold you from rising. When you keep your attention fixed on the idea that the universe is always increasing, always expanding, always delivering, you turn your mind into a magnet for wealth. You must learn to speak to your mind as though it is a powerful ally, for it is. Throughout the day, whisper to it that money comes to you freely, that ideas of increase arise naturally, that your intuition is precise and timely. This is not a fantasy, this is training. The mind learns through repetition, and the universe responds to conviction. If you declare something half-heartedly, the universe hears both your words and your doubt. But if you declare with unwavering certainty, even before the evidence appears, the universe rearranges the circumstances of your life to align with that certainty. Money-making ideas will surface out of nowhere. People will appear with exactly the resources or opportunities you require. Your timing will become impeccable. And the world will say, "You are lucky." But you will know luck is simply the manifestation of mental training combined with spiritual alignment. Every moment you spend dwelling on the idea of abundance imprints your subconscious with a new blueprint. The subconscious is the architect of your experience, and money is simply one of the structures it builds. If the subconscious blueprint is stained with fear of bills, fear of debt, fear of not having enough, then even large amounts of money will slip through your fingers. But if the subconscious is filled with the conviction of supply, then money will gather, grow, and multiply. You will find yourself guided to decisions that lead to increase, and you will feel a quiet, steady confidence that does not evaporate under pressure. That inner steadiness is the true foundation of prosperity, and once it is established, no external condition can shake it. When you begin to trust that inner steadiness, you will realize that money is not earned solely by effort, but invited by consciousness. Effort without aligned consciousness becomes exhaustion, but aligned consciousness turns even small actions into powerful catalysts. There is a rhythm to prosperity, a rhythm that becomes audible to the one who quiets the mind long enough to hear the whisper of intuition. Intuition is the voice of your unseen guidance, always leading you toward increase, but it cannot be heard above the noise of doubt. Doubt is a fog that covers the pathways of supply. When doubt dissolves, those pathways reveal themselves as clearly as illuminated roads, and you begin to notice that the universe has been orchestrating your increase long before you asked for it, long before you believed it was possible. To train your brain to make more money, you must learn the sacred art of assumption. Assume that you are already connected to every opportunity you need. Assume that your ideas are valuable. Assume that your presence is magnetic. Assume that you are supported by an intelligence that has never failed to provide for you. When you live from assumption rather than from fear, your brain begins to expect increase, and expectation is the spiritual signal that summons supply. People often say they will believe abundance when they see it, but the universe responds only when you believe first. Faith is the currency that opens the vault of the unseen, and once opened, it releases streams of prosperity that match the clarity of your faith. Your thoughts communicate with the universe as clearly as words, and the universe replies through events, timing, opportunities, and intuitive nudges. Think of this communication as a form of telepathy between you and the intelligence of life. When you send out thoughts of confidence, the universe sends back circumstances that confirm your confidence. When you send out thoughts of fear, the universe mirrors fear. This is not punishment, it is precision. The universe is exquisitely neutral, responding to your mental frequency with unwavering accuracy. So if you wish to make more money, you must become deliberate with the frequencies you broadcast. Your brain is the transmitter, your emotions are the fuel, and your focused intention is the signal sent into the field of possibility. This is why gratitude is one of the most potent tools in training the mind. Gratitude elevates your frequency instantly, aligning you with the vibration of abundance. When you appreciate what you already have, you declare that you are ready for more. Gratitude is not merely a pleasant feeling, it is a spiritual magnet that pulls increase toward you. When you wake each morning and thank the universe for unseen blessings already on their way, you open invisible gates through which prosperity rushes. The more deeply you feel gratitude, the more quickly the universe responds. It is not the words of gratitude that work the magic. It is the energy behind them. Genuine gratitude creates expansion in the mind, and money flows wherever there is expansion. Every time you choose to elevate your thoughts, you strengthen new neural pathways in the brain. These pathways become mental highways that guide your attention naturally toward opportunities. Your brain becomes primed to notice possibilities that others overlook. This is mental training at its finest, not forcing the mind, but guiding it gently and consistently toward the thought patterns of prosperity. With repetition, these patterns become automatic. Imagine walking through the world with an inner compass that always directs you toward increase. Imagine feeling a certainty so rooted that you no longer question whether you are meant to prosper. You simply expect it, and because you expect it, it appears. There is a moment in every person's journey when the old beliefs try to rise again. They whisper of limitations, remind you of past disappointments, attempt to anchor you to an identity that no longer belongs to you. But in that moment, you must speak with authority. Declare mentally that you are no longer available for thoughts of scarcity. Declare that your mind is aligned only with increase. Declare that every cell of your being vibrates with the energy of prosperity. These declarations are not empty words. They are commands to the subconscious, and the subconscious obeys every command delivered with conviction. Once the subconscious accepts a belief, it begins to attract conditions that match it. This is why the same opportunities that once eluded you will begin appearing effortlessly, because your inner command has changed. As you continue this training, the universe will send you impulses of inspired action. These impulses are sacred. They are not random thoughts, they are invitations from the unseen. When you follow them, you place yourself in the flow of divine timing, where money moves quickly and naturally. Money loves clarity, confidence, and decisiveness. When you act on intuitive guidance without hesitation, you signal to the universe that you are ready to receive, and the universe responds with precision, sending the right people, the right ideas, the right pathways, all aligned with the prosperity you have claimed internally. You may begin to notice that as your thoughts expand, your environment shifts in subtle but undeniable ways. Conversations take on new meaning. Ideas arrive with a clarity that feels otherworldly. You find yourself in the right place at the right time with increasing frequency, and what once felt out of reach becomes familiar, as though you have always been destined to receive it. This is not coincidence. This is the universe rearranging itself to match your new mental atmosphere. When your inner world changes, the outer world must respond. Prosperity is simply the echo of your thoughts, returning to you in physical form. If you wish to increase the echo, you increase the thought. If you wish to accelerate the result, you deepen the conviction. Your brain thrives on repetition, and repetition is the secret doorway to transformation. Every time you choose a thought of abundance, you carve a deeper groove in the neural landscape. Soon the mind automatically gravitates toward prosperous ideas, just as water naturally follows a riverbed carved by time. As these inner grooves expand, your perception widens, allowing you to see opportunities that were invisible to you in the past. Not because they were not there, but because your brain had not been trained to recognize them. Opportunity hides in plain sight from the mind that is closed, yet stands luminous before the mind that is prepared. The universe communicates in symbols, nudges, impressions, and synchronous events. When you train your brain to be receptive, you begin to understand this subtle language. You feel a pull toward a conversation, and that conversation leads to a new idea. You feel an urge to revisit a forgotten project, and that project reveals a pathway to income. You feel compelled to reach out to someone without knowing why, and they become a key connection in your financial expansion. The more you trust this inner guidance, the more it speaks. The more you act on it, the more precise it becomes. It is as though the universe is holding your hand, leading you step by step into greater prosperity. If you wish to accelerate financial increase, you must learn to remove mental resistance. Resistance comes in the form of doubt, impatience, worry, and the belief that wealth requires struggle. These beliefs create tension in the mind, and tension disrupts the flow of supply. A relaxed mind is a receptive mind, and a receptive mind is a prosperous mind. Practice relaxing into abundance. Breathe as though the universe is expanding your capacity for wealth with every inhale. Release the belief that you must earn every dollar through force. Money can flow through ease as powerfully as it flows through effort. When you align your mindset with ease, money begins to move toward you with less resistance because you are no longer blocking its path. One of the most transformative practices you can adopt is the mental rehearsal of wealth. Sit quietly and feel the reality of abundance as though it has already manifested. Imagine your mind expanding with new ideas. Imagine money flowing to you in ways that surprise and delight you. Imagine yourself living in complete harmony with financial increase. These imaginings are not fantasies. They are seed thoughts planted in the soil of the subconscious. And the subconscious, once seeded, produces results with remarkable fidelity. If you imagine wealth with feeling, the subconscious assumes it is true, and once it assumes truth, it begins orchestrating events to match that assumption. As you strengthen this practice, you will discover that certain opportunities feel as though they are calling to you. You will feel a sensation of alignment, a quiet certainty that tells you, this is yours, move forward. That sensation is the universe signaling that the path ahead is charged with increase. When you follow that signal, your steps become guided, and your outcomes become amplified. You find that effort produces multiplied results. You find that ideas spark with intensity. You find that financial growth becomes natural, as though it is the most effortless thing in the world. You must also understand that money is deeply responsive to clarity. If you are vague about what you want, the universe cannot deliver with precision. Train your brain to be specific in its desires. Declare what you want with confidence. Describe the level of financial freedom you seek. Cultivate the feeling of already possessing it. This mental clarity becomes a beacon, attracting resources with greater speed. The universe is not withholding, it is simply waiting for clear instruction. When your mind issues that instruction, the universe responds with unwavering accuracy. There will come a moment when your new mental pattern becomes so natural that your old beliefs feel foreign. Scarcity will feel like a distant memory. Fear will feel irrelevant. Doubt will feel like an outdated language you no longer speak. In that moment, you will know that your brain has been successfully trained. You will feel prosperity not as a wish, but as your identity. You will walk through the world radiating a frequency that signals abundance, and the universe will respond in kind, for it cannot do otherwise. And as this identity strengthens, your relationship with money undergoes a profound transformation. You no longer chase it, you draw it. You no longer fear its absence, you recognize its constancy. You no longer see it as something external to pursue, but as an expression of the inner abundance that has always been available to you. When your inner world is abundant, your outer world naturally follows. This shift is the essence of true prosperity. The knowing that supply is not dependent on circumstances, but on consciousness. Circumstances may change, markets may fluctuate, economies may rise and fall, but consciousness remains the architect of your experience. And when consciousness is rooted in the certainty of abundance, no external force can rob you of your increase. To deepen this training, you must learn the art of mental substitution. Every time a thought of fear attempts to enter your mind, replace it with a declaration of abundance. Every time a thought of limitation appears, substitute it with the affirmation of infinite supply. With practice, this substitution becomes automatic. The mind becomes a guardian of your prosperity, discarding any thought that does not align with increase. This discipline is subtle but powerful, for the mind that is trained to reject scarcity becomes an unstoppable magnet for wealth. It becomes so aligned with prosperity that even if challenges arise, the mind effortlessly finds solutions, opportunities, and pathways that lead you back into flow. There will be moments when your intuition instructs you to take bold steps, actions that may seem unusual or outside your usual patterns. These are the moments when the universe is asking you to expand your container for receiving. Prosperity cannot grow in a container that remains rigid or narrow. Expansion requires movement. It requires saying yes to ideas that stretch your comfort. It requires trusting nudges that defy logic but resonate with truth. When you follow these impulses, you are not acting blindly, you are cooperating with the very intelligence that has been guiding you since the beginning. This cooperation is the highest form of prosperity training, for it demonstrates trust, and trust unlocks supply. You may notice that as your trust grows, you begin to receive insights that feel as though they are whispered directly into your awareness. Ideas for investments, businesses, collaborations, or strategies may surface with unusual clarity. These insights are not random, they are responses to the frequencies you have been transmitting. When your mind consistently broadcasts abundance, the universe responds with ideas that align with abundance. These ideas often appear simple, but do not mistake simplicity for insignificance. Some of the most prosperous individuals have built wealth from ideas that arrive quietly, without fanfare, yet carried the energy of extraordinary increase. Pay attention to the quiet ideas, they are often the most powerful. One of the greatest secrets in training your brain to make more money is learning to normalize prosperity. When wealth feels normal to you internally, it can appear easily externally. If wealth feels foreign, distant, or reserved for others, the mind will reject it even when it attempts to enter your life. You must mentally rehearse wealth until it feels as natural as breathing. Imagine yourself making decisions from abundance. Imagine yourself receiving without guilt, expanding without fear, giving without hesitation. The more familiar these states become internally, the more effortlessly they manifest externally. Prosperity flows smoothly where familiarity exists. Surround yourself mentally with symbols and feelings of increase. See yourself as someone who is always guided, always supported, always moving toward greater success. Feel the presence of unseen assistance around you, for you are never acting alone. The universe is a collaborator in every step you take, and when you align your mind with its intelligence, you move with a power that extends beyond human effort. This collaboration is not mystical, it is the natural result of aligning your frequency with the frequency of supply. When frequencies match, manifestation becomes inevitable. You must also understand that prosperity thrives in a mind free of internal conflict. If part of you desires wealth but another part fears it, the energies cancel each other out. Resolve the conflicts within yourself. Release guilt around wanting more. Release the belief that wealth diminishes spirituality. Release the idea that money is limited or that having more takes from others. These beliefs are illusions. The universe is infinite. Supply expands as demand expands. Your prosperity contributes to the world, not detracts from it. When you embrace this truth, you allow yourself to receive without hesitation, and money responds by flowing more freely into your life. As you integrate these principles, you begin to see that making more money is not about working harder but about thinking differently, feeling differently, and aligning with the energy of abundance. You become a conscious creator rather than a passive participant. You begin to expect increase with the same certainty that you expect sunrise. And with each passing day, the flow becomes stronger, the evidence becomes clearer, and the prosperity that once seemed like a distant dream becomes an unquestionable reality.